Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear Venerable Sangha, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Quickly Buddhist News in English on PSOTV channel. There are 7 major news of the week. 1,866 monk students and nun students graduated Bachelor and Master of Buddhist students from Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City, we have merit recognition for late elderly most venerable THÍCH PHÁP at Hưng Phước Pagoda. Central Session of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha hands over 2,500 relief gifts in flooded areas of QUANG, BINH, TINH, and NGHE. Buddhist Cathedral magazine joins hands in relief for Central people affected by natural disaster. Lào Cai, Phase 1 completion of GIÁC Zen Monastery and appointment of its abbot. Cần Thơ, KHMER THERAVADA Buddhism Academy organized KATHINA mentor offering ritual and 300 month rites for FIESTA. HIwiedN Pagoda organized one-day retreat with the theme Stop to be Grateful. And the following are the news in details. On the morning of October 25, 2020, the Vietnam Buddhist University campus there in Ho Chi Minh City solemnly organized the graduation ceremony and New School Year 2020. The ceremony welcomed the chairman of the Administration Council of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Most Venerable THÍCH NGUYên, delivered his speech of conducting.
In witness the ceremonies, there were Most Venerable Elder THÍCH QUANG, together with dignitaries, venerables, monks, nuns, and representatives of various level authorities. Most Venerable Thích Nhật Từ, standing vice rector, delivered opening speech and affirmed the influence of Vietnam Buddhist University to monk and nun students. Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, VBU, is training monks, nuns, and students from more than 40 cities and provinces across the country. VBU is training 9 faculties at 2 campuses. Most Venerable Thích Quang Thanh, Vice Rector, cum Secretary General of the Vietnam Buddhist University, also reported about the training activities, studying and practicing at the university from time of foundation till now. At this graduation ceremony, Most Venerable Thích NGUYên, Chairman of the Administration Council of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, delivered his conducting speech to the Executive Council of the Vietnam Buddhist University and also delivered his compassion message to monk and nun students. Most Venerable Chairman of the Administration Council appreciated and praised merits from the Executive Council of the Vietnam Buddhist University for having been devoted for the career of Buddhist education and training talented Sangha to inherit and develop Vietnam Buddhist Sangha during the last decades. First of all, it is the great merit of the founder, Most Venerable Thích Minh Châu, for this university. Next is the leadership till now of current rector, Most Venerable Elderly THÍCH QUANG. Most Venerable also affirmed Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City bases on the foundation of discipline, meditation, wisdom as the guiding principles in the training of monk and nun students. This foundation is the middle way methodology which can develop to attain liberation that Buddha had guided clearly for his disciplines. Most Venerable Chairman was so delighted with achievements which Vietnam Buddhist University has obtained during the last 5 years at the Campus 2 at Lê Minh Xuân Commune. Taking this opportunity, Most Venerable also wished that, with the leadership of Most Venerable Rector, Executive Council of VBU should try the best to accomplish before year 2022 the constructions of the Great Chua Hall, Meditation Hall, Conference Hall in the area of University, so that monk and nun students can have better living conditions to practice, study, and research. Delivering compassion message, Most Venerable Elderly Rector admitted the newly graduated monk and nun students of the Vietnam Buddhist University are the core generation participating Buddhist activities and also reminded monk and nun students after graduation to continue learning from the seniors so that they can set out the most righteous path for themselves in the future. With experience of nearly 70 years in practicing Buddhism, the most venerable elderly strongly advised monks and students of the Vietnam Buddhist University to understand deeply the extracted doctrine, 5 aggregates our emptiness in the Prajnaparamita Sutra, to attain consistent mind, steady will, which help us to overcome obstacle and danger on the path of practicing, as well as to accomplish missions assigned by the Sangha, greatly expected by spiritual teachers. Also taking this good opportunity of the ceremony, the most venerable elderly rector called for the donation for the people in the flooded area in the central provinces who are facing the fatal storm and flood, and the total mobilized amount was 3 billion Vietnam dong.
On the morning of October 26, 2020, at Hương Phước Pagoda, Ho Chi Minh City, the Central Vietnam Buddhist Sangha solemnly commemorated the merit of the late Great Elder Most Venerable THÍCH HIểN PHÁP, Vice President of the Council of Patrons, former member of the National Assembly, term 6-11, former Vice President and General Secretary of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha.
In witness, it was honored to have elderly Most Venerable THÍCH QUANG, Deputy Dharma Master cum Superintendent of the Council of Patrons, Elder Most Venerable THÍCH Đức Nghiệp, Deputy Dharma Master of the Council of Patrons, Most Venerable THÍCH Như Niệm, Member of the Council of Patrons, Most Venerable THÍCH Thiện Nhơn, Chairman of the Administrative Council, Most Venerable THÍCH Thanh Nhiễu, Most Venerable THÍCH Thiện Pháp, Standing Vice Chairman of the Administrative Council, and dignified monks and nuns, with the participation of government representatives at various levels. Most Venerable THÍCH Thanh Nhiễu presented the review biography of the late Elder Most Venerable THÍCH HIểN PHÁP, who used to be a senior priest of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, with many sacrifices and great contribution to the national liberation and development of the common roofed house of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. This is evidenced by many noble medals and certificates of merit awarded by the party and the state, and many merit certificates that the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha honored. The representatives of the disciples, Venerable Thích Phước Nguyên, offered his gratitude to the Master and his dedication to the monk's soul to dedicate merit to the late Great Elderly Master on the date of merit recognition. Late Elderly Most Venerable THÍCH HIểN PHÁP was named Từ Văn Ngưu at birth in 1933 in BINH province and passed away in 2018 at Hương Phước Pagoda, Ho Chi Minh City, with 66 years of Sangha service. He was ordained with Patriarch Khánh Thông, bearing the Dharma moniker Như Tín, belonging to the 39th generation of Lâm Tế Gia Jain sect. After the demise of Patriarch Khánh Thông, he prayed to learn Dharma with Most Venerable Vĩnh Huệ, Dharma moniker Hồng Phước, the byname of Nhật Sáng, belonging to the 41st generation of Lâm Tế Gia Jain sect.
With sorrow and much directed towards the central region that has just experienced the historic catalysm, suffered many losses in life and property. From October 21st to 25th, the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Central Charity Group organized relief gifts in the provinces of Quảng Nam, Thừa Thiên Huế, and Quảng Trị. It was the 4th and the 5th day of the journey. The relief team visited and presented 2,500 gift portions to the people in Quảng Bình, Hà Tĩnh, and Nghệ An provinces.
During the 4th day of the relief journey, under the guidance of Venerable Thích Đức Thiện, the team went to Hoang Phúc Pagoda, Quảng Bình province, to give 500 gifts to people. In the afternoon of the same day, the team continued to give 500 gifts to people in Quảng Ninh district. The team also awarded 2 more anti-flood houses to people in Quảng Bình province, valued at 8 million Vietnam dong each. On the occasion of giving gifts in Quảng Trị province, the reverse monks and members of charitable team came to burn incense, sincerely commemorated, pray and offer deep condolence to the family of Caris and soldier of Economic Cooperation, National Defense, 337 who sacrificed their lives on October 18, 2020 in Quảng Province while on the rescue mission to help the people. On the fifth day, the team visited and presented 1,000 gifts to people in TINH Province. In the afternoon of the same day, in Nghệ Province, the relief team continued to give 500 gifts to people in Tân Kỳ district. At its gift distribution site, the devotees in the team heartened the people affected by the floods and storms, encouraged them to try to overcome current difficulties and quickly overcome the consequences of the flood. On behalf of the benevolent Buddhists, Ms. Mai Thị Hạnh and Ms. Nguyễn Thị Tranh also expressed their sharing and empathy with the difficulties and hardship of the people. The total fund for the donation of gifts in the 3 provinces is approximately 4 billion Vietnam dong.
Due to the continuous storm and flood causing serious destruction to people in the central region recently, as assigned by the editorial board of the Buddhist Culture magazine, the district members of editorial board collaborated with the pagodas and temples, give a hand of relief to the central region people who are isolated in flooded zone. Here are some pictures in our newsreel.
On the night of the 15th of October 2020, the relief team led by Venerable THÍCH HIයෙන්, member of editorial board, together with the English section editors of Buddhist Culture magazine and Phật online channel hit the road, Central Region bound, together with the Compassion Heart Volunteer Association and the Compassion Light Club, the Buddhist monastic group. The relief team coordinated with the local authority and the local pagodas to provide emergency relief commodities to the people in flood areas. Moving in the middle of a storm, facing many difficulties and the extreme weather conditions could not prevent the enthusiasm of the Buddha's followers. Over 10 days on the move amidst the flooded areas, passing through storms number 7 and number 8 to rescue and giving relief victuals to the people. When asked, Venerable THÍCH HIයෙන්, the team leader, just smiled and wished that he and the members of the relief team had more health to continue accompanying and directly delivering the supplies and necessities for people to stabilize their livelihood. On the 20th of October 2020, approaching the next destination, the team got into the navel of flood, deeply flooded areas. Water rose up to the roof of the house. The HIයෙන් River and fields merged themselves into a valley of water, submerged the land up to nearly 3 meters of water in depth. The relief team reached Quảng Xá village and neighboring villages, Quảng Bình Province, to hand over the gifts of essential necessities and also carefully brought ready lunch boxes to help people on the spot. On the 23rd of October, the relief team continued to return to Quảng Bình for the second tour. This time, Venerable THÍCH HIයෙන් prepared 400 servings of rice and 200 gifts of necessities and essential medicines. Upon receiving the relief gifts from the team along with hot rice boxes, many people were emotionally deeply moved. The total cost of offering gifts to people in 2 relief tours is worth over 500 million Vietnamese dong. In Quảng Trị, on the 25th of October 2020, the relief team led by Venerable THÍCH Đồng Quý, member of the editorial board of Buddhist Culture magazine, member of the Central Committee for Charity and Social Affairs, Venerable THÍCH Hạnh PHÁP, had a ritual section of Phú Long Pagoda, together with Buddhist benefactors of the pagoda, presented 310 essential supplies gifts to HIයෙන් and Hải Phòng commune, Quảng Trị province, with a total amount of more than 100 million Vietnamese dong. On the morning of the 26th of October 2020, a charity team of Buddhist Culture magazine, in coordination with the pagodas Kim Linh Pagoda, Tiền Giang Province, Thiên Phước Pagoda, Ho Chi Minh City, Quan Âm Pagoda, capital of Prague, Từ Ân Pagoda, Czech Republic, led by Venerable THÍCH Thiện Tâm, Secretary, member of editorial board of Buddhist culture magazine, ABBOT of Kimling Pagoda, along with his peer monks, Buddhists, and sponsors, continue the journey to give gifts to people in the flood-affected areas in Quảng province. The place where the team came is a habitat of the Vân Kiều ethnic group. The delegation gave gifts to people in PHUOC hamlet and 5 other hamlets in Đắk Rông district, Ba Tầng commune, Hướng Hóa district. This is an ethnic minority area. The people here normally have a very hard life. Now, encountering the floods, they face harder circumstances. The relief team handed over 650 essential necessities and cash.
On the morning of October 25, 2020, at the GIÁC Zen Monastery, Lào Cai Province, the inauguration ceremony of Phase 1 was held for the 3-year construction, and decision to oppose its airport was announced.
In witness, it was honored to have Most Venerable Thích Thanh Nhieu, Permanent Vice Chairman of the People's Council, Vice Head of the Standing Committee of Monks Affairs of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Venerable Thích Thanh Quyết, Vice Chairman of the Administrative Council, Head of the Buddhist Education Central Section of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Most Venerable Thích Thanh Điện, Vice General Secretary of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Chief of Office 1, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Chief of Lào Cai Provincial Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Venerable Thích Thanh Tuấn, Standing Member of the Administrative Council, Vice Chief of the Office 1 of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, together with religious dignitaries and Buddhist monks. Attending the meeting were the leaders of central and local governments and representatives of agencies and departments of the province. Venerable Thích Tâm Thuần gave the opening speech and said the purpose was to preserve and promote the value of Dharma and meditation of Yên Tử Zen sect that had been built up by the ancestor with hard work. At the same time, it was to respond to the needs of Buddhists in the province. The GIÁC Zen Meditation Monastery, after more than 3 years of construction, had completed its basic purposes. Venerable Thích Chân Tín announced the decision to appoint Venerable Thích Tĩnh Thiền, given name Lưu Việt Nhi, born in 1961, to be the abbot, and Venerable Thích Trúc Thái Phước, given name Lê Ngọc Tâm, born in 1972, to be the subordinate abbot. Most Venerable Thích Thanh Điện also handed over the decision to appoint the venerables of the GIÁC Zen Meditation Monastery. In his new role, Venerable Thích Tĩnh Thiền replied to the reverend monks to prove his aspiration to accept the mission entrusted by the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in Lào Cai province. He would pray for the rest of the life to serve the religion and the nation. Always obey the rules of the Sangha and the charter of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, as well as the laws of the state that regulate and guide Buddhists to practice the Dharma, live and work properly in the spirit of religious and national service. In his own words of advice, Venerable Thích Phước Tú praised the merit in construction of the monastery of monks and Buddhists, despite difficulties in terms of unfavorable terrain and finance. On this occasion, many merit awards were also rewarded to families who have contributed financially to the development of the GIÁC Zen Meditation Monastery, and scholarships were awarded to local studio students.
In the atmosphere of holding the KATHINA mental offering ritual in Theravada Buddhism temples on the morning of October 26, 2020, at the KHMER Theravada Buddhist Temple, Cần Thơ City, the monks solemnly celebrated the KATHINA ceremony to offer mentors to monks after 3 months of Vasa, but a year 2564, solar calendar 2020.
In witness, it was honored to have Most Venerable Lý Dân, member of the Council of Patrons, patron of Administrative Board of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in Cần Thơ City, Most Venerable Đào Như, Rector of the Khmer Theravada Buddhist University, Most Venerable Danh Động, Vice Rector of the Khmer Theravada Buddhist University, Most Venerable Thích Bửu Chánh, Permanent Member of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Council, Venerable Thích Thọ Lạc, head of the Culture Department of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, with the religious dignitaries among the attendants. The ceremony also honored to welcome Mr. Apirat Sungonda Birom, Consul General of Thailand Royal Embassy, Mr. Sok Direct, Consul General of Cambodian Embassy, Ms. Huỳnh Thị Somali, Director of Local Department 3, with leaders of local departments, branches, and Buddhists. Most Venerable Dao Như delivered an opening speech and said that the Khmer Buddhist Sangha always received the attendance and guidance from the Standing Committee of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. In particular, as advised by Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, realizing the importance of mantle offering, the official benefactors, Mrs. Lê Thị Dầu, happily offered the KATHINA mantles to the monks after the 3-month retreat. At the event, the representatives of Royal Thai Consul General and the Cambodian Consul General also expressed their joy in the solemn and earnest atmosphere of the Khmer Theravada Buddhism ritual, and they wished the Khmer Theravada Buddhist University, always making effort in the cause of sustainable educational development, training of talents to help Buddhism flourish and endure. Venerable Thích Thọ Lạc delivered a speech on behalf of the generous benefactor's family to offer KATHINA mantles to the reverend monks, and he requested the religious monks to recite prayers of peace and dedicate precious blessings to relatives of the philanthropist.
In order to create a humanistic and educational playground for young Buddhists, to grant good conditions for them to learn about culture and activities in meditation places, on the morning of October 25, 2020, Venerable Thích Quang Phước, Deputy Head of the Standing Committee of the Administration Council, Cờ Đỏ District, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, the airport of GIÁC Pagoda, Cần Thơ City, held a one-day retreat with the theme Stop to be Grateful, with the participation of more than 200 trainees.
At 8 a.m., all the participants were presented in full to attend the opening ceremony in a solemn, peaceful, and respectful atmosphere. Right on the opening morning, participants were taught how to live in the meditation place. Next, they chanted sutra and practiced meditation together. On single-point prayer for people in beloved central provinces. At 10:30, Venerable Thích Quang Phước shared the meaning of this retreat with the participants. The Venerable wished that after having participated in this retreat, they will be able to calmly think of the hardship of their parents to give birth and bring them up. Escalate the our fatherland's hero who sacrificed their youth, their lives, so that we can enjoy today peace and abundant life. Venerable Thích Quang Phước also reminded the participants to know how to share and help their parents and people around them. After the Dharma sharing, the children were guided by the Venerables to chant the meditation practice at noontime and to meditate in mindfulness. At the beginning of the afternoon, the young participants were also guided with Dharma sharing by the monks to help them obtain better understanding of Buddha's teaching, as well as answer their questions about the life of meditated places. At the end of the day, they were guided to play 4 games to help them develop comprehensive lives in intellectual thinking and solidarity in the team. The meaningful and helpful retreats, specially designed for young Buddhist children, are monthly held by GIÁC Pagoda.
Venerable monks and nuns, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, the last news has side of this quickly newsreel. Thank you for your attention and following. Goodbye and see you in the next program on PSOTV channel. Namo Sakya Muni Buddha.